Hello and welcome. I'm here to talk to you today about a very special series to me, one that is near and dear to my heart and quickly jumped up my rankings as one of my favorite manga of all time, and that manga is Souboutei Must Be Destroyed, or Souboutei Kawasubeshi. I adore this manga, and in a weird way, it's kind of hard to talk about because all the things that I want to say are spoilers, and we're going to get to the spoiler section, but this is a really great horror manga about a haunted house, and anybody that survives an interaction with the haunted house is filled with a zeal, a fire to destroy it, to ruin it, and make sure Souboutei must be destroyed. And the mystery that slowly unravels as you get further and further into the story, on top of how interesting the characters are and the stakes that are constantly high, but get into this like groove of getting higher and then higher and then higher, and it's incredible the way that the story moves. It's not super long. It clocks in right at 250 chapters and has a really strong finale, in my opinion. What makes Souboutei so special? I want to show you panels of Souboutei Must Be Destroyed, and I really can't without just getting into a bunch of spoilers, but I will show a couple on screen here just really quickly, and if you want to stop and look at them, you can pause and see it for yourself. I'm trying to avoid most of the panels I want to show you that are very spoilery, but this is a series that I refuse to just spoil for you. This is a series that I think is really worth the time that goes into it. 250 chapters may seem like a long time, but you can burn through manga chapters really quickly, honestly. And Souboutei Must Be Destroyed is the first time in a long time that I stayed up at night reading chapters. It's not just I read chapters until I fell asleep, which is what I do with almost every other manga that I read. It was I'm actively staying up, even though I really shouldn't, to try and finish this manga, because I was really enjoying it. And I got to a point where there were only 9 chapters left to the end, and it wasn't translated any further because there is no official release, unfortunately. And I got really upset. I really wanted to finish it. But just recently, the fan translations have rounded out, and it is now finished with a translated version. And the translations are pretty good, I think. They're pretty solid. I like this manga a lot. I know I've said that a bunch of times already. One of the things that I think makes Souboutei so special is not just the quality of the art, but also how well written the characters are in and around that. The action is really nice. It's all done well, but by far it is the suspense. It is the framing of everything in the panels. It is very powerful is maybe the right phrase. Souboutei as the haunted house always feels like it's in control. It always feels like it has the upper hand, right? And so your characters are all underdogs punching up to try and gain some ground against this haunted mansion. Oh man, I want to talk spoilers so bad. I do just want to give a couple quick shout outs, highlights to the character design themselves. There's a lot of characters in Souboutei Must Be Destroyed, and they all look pretty different, and most especially people that are from different areas in the world look very visually distinct from each other in a way that I found really satisfying. Not just like, hey, all of these people look like this, but like this main character, Augusto, for instance, looks very different from, say, Takoha or any of the other characters that are from that area. And I think it's really cool. Very often you will fall into a, hey, yeah, if you're from somewhere else, then you got this weird thing about you, and that's what makes it visually distinct. Or you're just a different shape. It's like, well, that's not the way this works here. There's actual work made to differentiate these characters in a way that I find really satisfying. And I find it's not a magic system per se, but I find the way the science works in Souboutei Must Be Destroyed to be fascinating. There is some really cool stuff in here that I don't want to spoil for you, but you 100% should check out this manga because it's a lot deeper than it seems. It goes so much more than I ever would have thought it would have gone when I just first signed up for a horror manga about a haunted house, and it absolutely delivered. Those first couple chapters are something. What I got at the end was a really powerful story about a group of characters desperately trying to fight back against this nightmare almost while also not forgetting what it means to be human in a way that I found really satisfying. And I can't say much more without just repeating myself over and over again. So we are going to turn on spoilers here. And if you don't want to be spoiled, please, I'm begging you, please check out Souboutei Must Be Destroyed for yourself. If anything, just read the first chapter and see how you feel about it. But if you really just don't care about spoilers at all, stick around and maybe I'll be able to change your mind about how great this series is. Before we click that spoiler button and we go into spoiler mode, the characters are really, really good. I like them a whole lot. The story's really solid. I think the story is very, very good. The setting is incredible. The art is incredible. And I'm the kind of guy that, like, I love when characters in manga have, like, ring eyes. Or, like, they're losing their mind. Like, Ryo Managare, Robo style, or, like, Hellsing style, where they get the ring eyes. I love that. That happens so much in here. Souboutei Must Be Destroyed will shake your brain. And if that's not enough to get you to check it out, I don't know what is. So let's get into spoilers. Okay. Alright. Sakimaki Dado is an incredible villain. I love him so much. What a great villain. Bitter. So bitter. So twisted. Twisted so far back around that he believes that he's the only one that knows what real art is in this world. How could it be anything else but his vision? I love him so much. And the character growth that the primary villain gets in this series is incredible. His final moments, I was moved. It's so good. And when you first see him, there is no way he can be anything but this most vile, scum-of-the-earth villain. He's evil, and he knows it, and he doesn't care because he doesn't consider what he's doing evil, and I love him. But by the end of the story, it's a huge spoiler. So again, if you're in spoilers, by the end of the story, he actually becomes Takuha's friend in a way that I found really convincing. I bought into that friendship. That was really good. And Takuha is a character. I'm going to talk about him in a minute because I feel like people are probably going to be torn on Takuha. He is the everyman in this story, right? But Dado absolutely is not. Dado is what Takuha, before the start of the story, that would be his goal, right? An incredible artist that has won his way up in the world, that has created a name for himself, created his own atelier, as it were, right? And is now continuing to make art for all eternity, basically. That would be what Takuha was reaching for, right? But over the course of the journey, both Takuha and Dado come to remember what art was truly about. And you could say, well, it might be a little weird that, you know, Souboutei Must Be Destroyed is a manga that is heavy on the art. The art is a big thing about it. And yet here are these two characters talking about art and how interesting it is. But I actually find that to be not meta, as I've seen some people say. I find that to actually be really refreshing. Of course art matters to this mangaka. Of course it does. And here are two characters that art also matters to. It's not just, hey, the mangaka is having these characters parrot their own feelings. These two characters are at an impasse where they both look at art in a different way. And then slowly their understanding of art comes together. Not because either one of them was right or wrong, but because they both build up together. And all of this is framed with this story of this sentient alien water that is coming from another planet that has come through a wormhole and is forming all these creatures and this alien life form that also another sentient water alien is trying to stop and is teamed up with Seiichi and the rest of the crew. It's all framed by this story of Zanka and his goal just to meet his friend again and work things out. Just if it can't work out, he will kill him himself. It's all wrapped up in the story of a woman that has lost her memory, of another woman just trying to rescue her brother, of a little brother trying to end Souboutei, to save his sister and get back at Souboutei for what it did to his father, of two old men that have been obsessed with Souboutei since their youth, that are slowly losing themselves almost to this desire to kill Souboutei. Definitely losing their jobs when all this is over, right? All in an effort to get revenge for the loss of their friend. It's the story of two parents that lost their child, one of which became completely broken, and the other of which has desperately been trying to hold on to the woman he loves. It's the story of a man that always put science first, that forgot what family means and only now remembered it when it's too late, and now tries to make things better while also still trying to be the best scientist he can be. It's the story of a soldier that is just trying... I love Souboutei. It's the story of a soldier that is just trying to fulfill her mission to save her homeland and also to get revenge for the loss of her friend. All wrapped up together. The story of sisters. I don't want to talk about the Kirita sisters. I will cry. The story of sisters that have been so hurt that all they can do is laugh. Just trying to do something right for a change. Just trying to do something good for a change. Not because it's the good thing to do, but because somebody finally saw them for who they are. I love this cast. I love this story. And it absolutely has moved itself into my top 5 manga of all time. I adore Souboutei Must Be Destroyed. Sanka, Deido, Takoha, Rokuro, Seiji, Kairikuro. They're all so good. Yadarigi. I love them all. And I could sit here all day talking to you about how great these characters are and the stuff they go through, about how great this art is, how oppressive Souboutei feels, how the angles are used that really almost always in frame, the Souboutei character is higher up than our main characters. Almost always in frame, whoever Souboutei is controlling is more imposing and more striking than our main characters. It gives you just this feeling of complete oppression, where no matter what our characters do, they're constantly being crushed down under the weight of Souboutei. The way that Souboutei invades into them, I feel like the art itself almost conveys that with that oppressive feeling, right? All to just twist them and use them for its goals to try and reach the ocean, to try and devour everyone. I love this story. I really can't do it justice talking about it. You need to read it for yourself. You say, well, I don't read a lot of manga. I normally just watch you for your game reviews. I know this might be weird then if you don't normally read manga or watch anime, but I really think this is worth checking out. The only reason I would say don't check out Souboutei Must Be Destroyed is if you're not good with horror, because there's some panels in there that are absolutely horrifying. There's some stuff in there that will keep you awake at night if you're somebody that is easily spooked. I loved it. I ate it up. I couldn't have enough of it. But just keep that in mind. If you're somebody that struggles with that kind of thing, it gets rough in places. Seiji's backstory, when he goes to find his childhood home, and this is a great story. And again, I could just keep going, but I feel like I would just be repeating myself. I don't feel like I can do this story justice talking about it. I feel like I'm just going to go in circles. Man, do I love this story. The journey that Takoha takes as the everyman artist, down on his luck, not doing any good, right? He's nowhere close to his dream, his goal. And the first person that ever seemed to give him the time of day for his art, he accidentally nearly sends to his death and causes a terrible tragedy to occur. And so the coward, the everyman, steps up to the plate and goes to fight. And were it not for him, they would have lost. I love this story. It definitely has places where I'm like, why are we including time travel here? What? Okay, I guess, sure. Let's Why not? Especially like at the end, there's a scene where it's like, okay, I get what you're going for. This is a different timeline, surely, because we get to see, but still, that's cool, I guess. And also, I really like when Taka and Seiichi are together on screen. On screen, I say on page. That, it just makes me happy. Seiichi deserves the world. That's all I'm saying. I really love this series, and I urge you to check it out for yourself. Souboutei Must Be Destroyed. Souboutei Kawasubeshi. Absolutely one of the greatest manga ever made, in my opinion, and is in my top 5. I love it so much. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and until next time, I've been Trey. This has been The Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. Souboutei Must Be Destroyed has to offer.